Hey, what's up everybody, Retro Gaming Guy here. So a couple weeks ago I heard from a current employee of DKOldies who said that they are basically now required to open up every console that goes out and at the very least clean the inside of the consoles. So in an effort to see if that is actually what they are truly doing, I decided to place another order with DKOldies, and today I'm going to be unboxing that order. I ordered a Platinum Nintendo Gamecube console. I got the player pack, so it comes with the cables obviously necessary to actually use it, and a third-party controller. So I also picked up 007 Agent Under Fire, which is one of my favorite GameCube games. I spent pretty much 2 years of my life as a kid playing through this game multiple times over. It was one of my favorite 007 games at the time, so I decided to get that purely for nostalgia because I haven't really played that much, a little bit through emulation, but I haven't played that much on an actual GameCube console since I was a kid. So we are going to unbox this, test it out, and then open it up to see what the condition is like inside. Let's dive into it. Alright, so here we have our box from DKOldies. You can see their address right up here at the top. I've just covered up my address here just to keep that private. So let's open this up and see what we've got. Alright, so we've got my favorite packing peanuts here. And here is the packing slip. So nothing, let me see, just want to make sure that my address isn't on here or anything, but you can see it's just packing slip, doesn't have any personal information. It has the GameCube right here. I got the System GameCube Platinum player pack. And then I also got 007 Agent Under Fire, which is one of my favorite games for the GameCube. So I got the complete version here, so we're going to take a look at that as well. So here we have an old school GameCube controller. This is obviously third party from the old school brand. I am pretty familiar with their products. They're actually not bad, so did know that we were going to be getting a third party when ordering this, so not concerned with that. Here's the game. We'll take a closer look momentarily. Here we have an old school AC adapter, so this is also a third-party power supply cable. And here, obviously that was the console. Here is a third-party AV cable. So get the box out of the way. Not crazy about third-party cables. Usually, it's not a huge deal, but it's kind of strange to do third-party across the board with everything. But it is what it is there. So here we have just your typical system and game startup guide, basically just telling you how to set everything up. I'm going to just kind of put that aside for right now. So here is the console. So now Platinum usually is going to show scuffs a little bit more. It's much harder to actually clean these. So let me bring this in a little bit. So right off the bat, I do see a scuff up here on the top that is dark. So it's really not in, this is really not in great shape at all. Just looking at this, I'm going to try to get it from the angle there. You can see a lot of scuffs up here. This is not obviously brand new. I don't expect it to be, but I mean, it's significantly scuffed up. This is pretty dull looking as well. Let's see. See, definitely got a lot of marks on it here. It's hard to see because of the lighting here, so I'm going to try to just hit it at an angle. You can see all the scuffs. This one's pretty significant. Another good size one right there. Looking at the face, not too bad in the front actually. A couple little scuffs up here, but the corners and edges are really scuffed up. It's hard to see again because of the way that the finish here actually kind of goes over.
but there's no paint on this corner here at all. No paint on this corner here at all, just totally worn down. You can see the line right across pretty much the entire edge of this. I don't know if that's because, I'm just trying to look closer. We know that they like to use those magic erasers, or magic eraser, you know, sponges from Mr. Clean. Those take off the finish considerably because it's basically like running sandpaper on there. But I don't know, I feel like if that's what they did, you wouldn't have these like dark marks all over the place. I mean, this is really not in good shape at all cosmetically. Alright, so here's the bottom side here. I expect to see, like, you know, the scuffs on the bottom, but the top is kind of crappy. You can see, same deal here, all down the edge. The finish is just completely gone, and I know that the platinum at Gamecube is prone to, you know, having it look more dinged up than you know, like the indigo one or the black one. But just looking into the ports there, I'm not seeing dust, so that looks good so far. Let's pop the top. A little bit of dust in there. Definitely doesn't look super clean, like around that lip there on the outside. Let's see. Definitely some dust around there. It doesn't look like they really wiped it down too great inside, or really on top for that matter. Alright, so let me just pull back these. Here we have our DKOldies, what used to be a warranty sticker. Supposedly it's now just proof of purchase stickers, what they're calling it. Everything looks good under there, so I just want to take a peek, you know, kind of under the hood, so to speak. But we're going to test this out, and then we'll continue on, and we'll open this sucker up. So I've got most of the cables set up there. So here is the game, 007 Agent Under Fire. We're going to open this up. Looks really nice in here right off the bat. Let's take a look at... Top has some, hard to see, but you can see little scuffs in the circular sort of motion there. Bottom looks good though. I've heard that the scuffs on the top are actually from the resurfacing machine. We've seen that on discs from Lukey games as well, so you know, it definitely looks like looks really good on the bottom. So maybe they put it through the, you know, resurfacing machine, and if it leaves scuffs on the top, that kind of sucks, but you know, is what it is. I mean, as long as the game works, that's all that really matters here. Everything looks good here. Cool to have all that original stuff. And the price for this versus just like a loose copy wasn't that much of a markup, so that's why I just got the complete one. This was a game that I loved playing. I played this pretty much on repeat when I was a kid, so love the fact that we have that. I have an original GameCube controller, but I mean, we'll test out exactly what we got from you know, DKOldies here. So let me open this up. Buttons feel really good on this old school, and I am familiar with old school. They make generic third-party you know, controllers like this. It feels super light, like really honestly cheaply light, if that makes sense. Buttons function well. The L and R though absolutely suck, and I've seen that with third-party controllers for GameCube. That's usually where you're going to find disconnect. The analog stick feels good. D-pad was never great on the GameCube controller in my opinion, but everything else seems to be, this one's a little, not sticky, but not super smooth. Don't really use it a whole hell of a lot, but yeah, the L and R just don't feel very good at all. They feel super cheap. The feedback on them's not great, but I mean, they'll get you through the game, or they should get you through the game. So, all right, so we just plugged in the power supply over there. So let's open this up and let's put our 007 Agent Under Fire disc into our GameCube. All right, so we do have everything starting right up perfectly on here, no issues.
Careful, 007. They may know you're inside.
Take cover!
Fireworks.
Down! Get back here!
All right, guys, so the game works perfectly. The Gamecube itself works perfectly. I will say this controller is absolute garbage. Just, you know, it functions fine when you like hit the buttons. Everything feels okay, but analog stick sucks. It just doesn't track well at all. You can see when I'm trying to aim, I'm just like all over, just overcorrecting. It's just not a good feel. You either go all the way over, you know, in any direction. Otherwise, like just the feel here, you can see the movement just super restricted here. So it's really hard to actually aim when you bring up your crosshairs by hitting the L button. You know, just not a good feel to this. It just feels really cheap. So I was, you know, probably giving it more credit than it was probably due to receive. So I'm going to unplug that. We will disconnect all of the cables on the back side here, and we're going to open this console up and, you know, see what the inside looks like here. All right, so I just flipped this over. You can see we have that DKOldies sticker right there. So what is the best way to piss them off? Should we break into it? Let's see if we can just, oh, look at that. We could push right through it. Joey and the DKOldie ninjas are going to descend from the ceilings, coming to get me for doing that. At least, though, DKOldies is not saying that that voids your warranty anymore. They used to say that. They used to deny people's warranties for, you know, opening these consoles up. That is no longer the case. Not that I have heard of anybody hearing from them on that, but we noticed that change on their website about a month ago, at the time of this video anyways. Maybe a little over a month ago. So I got 2 that came out. 2 are still in there, but should be loose enough to fall through. At least 1 did. All right, so of course I should have taken that out first, but really didn't do any difference to it. So right off the bat here, let's take a look at the inside here. Not seeing any issues whatsoever. So far so good. No dust in here. They definitely look to have opened this up, which is awesome. Obviously the top here is what we saw previously, just by opening it up, and it does look a little dusty here, but everything beyond that is actually super clean. A little bit of dust down here, you know, at the bottom of the fan, but you know, I'm really looking closely to even notice that. Everything looks very good here. Just going to drop that down a little bit. Oh, I'm not even in frame. There we go. Just drop that down just to see a little bit further in here. Everything, again, looking very good. this around, take a look at the back side. I don't think we're going to find any issues in here. But this will give us, you know, another view. A little bit of dust and dirt in there, but again, I'm just really looking for everything. If I wipe that down hard enough, yeah, I'm going to pull a little dust off, but this is actually extremely clean. So I think that, you know, they did a nice job on this one. A little bit of dust and debris, you know, around the outside here, but super minimal. Nothing within here that is concerning. Now, I'm not going to take this all apart. You know, with DKOldies, we have seen that a lot of times you find dust just caked up inside and it looks like nobody ever even opened it. This has definitely been opened. At the very least, they clean the inside, which is what they claim to do. I don't think that they claim to do a whole lot in terms of refurbishing. There's a disconnect there. Refurbishing itself is a gray area with game consoles, computers, etc. But, you know, they did what they say they're going to do here with this GameCube. They opened it up and they cleaned it. So maybe that, you know, current employee that reached out to me about a month ago was correct. You know, maybe they are opening their consoles now and actually cleaning them out. I mean, this is definitely a really nicely, you know, maintained internally GameCube. Unfortunately, though, the outside here, and I don't think that it really translates well in video here due to the lighting, but that side's not bad. The top is an absolute mess, especially the edge here that has, you know, all of those areas just completely without its original finish. The scuffing here is pretty extensive. You know, I wouldn't ever say that this was good condition cosmetically. I would list that as acceptable if I was to list this on eBay or somewhere like that. But it functions. Inside is clean. You know, this is the best experience I've had with DKOldies so far.
All right, guys, so I have to say, this console, the Nintendo GameCube from DKOldies, is actually in perfect working order. No issues with the performance of it, other than the fact that the third-party controller absolutely sucks. But I knew going in I was getting a third-party controller. I have 3 different colored original controllers right here, so I wasn't worried about that going in. That's why I didn't opt in for that $30 upgrade to get an original. I already have 3 here, so is what it is there. You know, we kind of know what we're getting with DKOldies at this point, that you're always going to get third party unless you pay the $30 or whatever it is to upgrade to an original controller. Now, what is interesting about this particular order with DKOldies is, in the past, we've seen that cosmetically, externally, they try to keep their consoles in as great a shape as possible. And the idea behind that, which I've confirmed with their past employee Jigsaw, they set out specifically to do exactly that. They want everything to look as good externally as possible so nobody thinks to ever open up the consoles. That's usually where, at least in the past, we have found dirt, debris, and, you know, a wide range of different issues hiding inside. In this case, everything inside was in really great shape. They clearly opened up the console, cleaned everything out, dusted everything. It was in very good condition. Little dust and debris here and there, but, you know, very minimal. Nothing that I would say was at all concerning to me. Cosmetically, externally, though, it was an absolute mess. There are scuffs all over. The finish is completely gone on 3 of the 4 sides to the top of the console. You could see in the video as I, you know, angled the console where it's just totally missing the finish. It looks like somebody probably scrubbed it down, or maybe they tried to buff it and realized after the fact that you can't really buff the Platinum GameCube console. You can do that to the black one. It's going to hold up much better. You could do that to the orange or the indigo ones, but you can't do that to the finish on a Platinum. It just wears right off really quickly. So maybe that's what they did. Maybe they used a buffing pad. Maybe they used their infamous magic erasers from Mr. Clean that they love to use, which is just a terrible idea to ever rub across the surface of any console because it's going to take that top layer off. So it looks like that could be what happened here. I don't know for a fact, but cosmetically, there's scuffs all over, there's dings all over it. It should not have been listed as good condition. It should have been listed as cosmetically flawed. And I know that there are, categories on their website where you can get a cosmetically flawed console versus a good condition console. And I actually re-verified to make sure that I didn't click the wrong one. And the one that I got here is in good condition. So they definitely dropped the ball there. So typical DKOldies, they aren't without controversy, but all in all, the console did function perfectly. It was cleaned out, so they opened it up, cleaned it out, but externally, it looks like crap in all honesty. And I'm not sure that in the video, it really shows you exactly how bad it looks, because with all the lights and everything, it does create a little bit of a glare and kind of emphasizes the glossiness and the shimmer to the finish. So I think it hides a lot of the imperfections, but in person, it does look really rough. Definitely not something that you would list as good condition. If I were to list it on eBay, I'd probably put it in acceptable condition, at least for how it is cosmetically. Again, just because of all the scuffs and dings on the surface. It does not look like a, really good console here. It looks acceptable at best, at least outside. Inside, I would say it looks great. But, in the end, I'll lean positive on this experience, but I paid over $150, including tax, for this console. I know if it was a cosmetically flawed version, it would be much less than that, and their prices do fluctuate a lot more on the DKOldies website these days. We used to see that they had these sort of endless sales that just kind of kept the price, exactly as it was for what seemed like months on end. Now we're seeing week by week, or even sometimes day by day, the prices do fluctuate a lot. So I'm not sure what they're going for at the time of me editing this video, but a week ago when I placed this order, it was $150 plus tax to get this console as it was, which was the Player Pack Platinum. Came with, obviously, the 2 cables and the third-party old school controller. So I would expect to pay much less for cosmetically flawed, but it is what it is here. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this order for this GameCube from DKOldies. That's going to do it for today, though. Smash the thumbs up on the video if you found this information helpful to you guys, and of course, be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future videos here on the Retro Gaming Guy YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.